morning, good afternoon. Let's take that again. We're going to give a couple more minutes for people to come online. We are almost 800 here right now, and I can still see a lot of people coming in. So let's give a couple more minutes. We get everybody online. And before we get started, I would like to take the opportunity to wish you all Happy New Year. What an amazing thing, 2026. We are officially now, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the future. And it is great to have all of you guys here today with us, and more people are coming. So let's give another minute and then we get started. Now, I do want to highlight that this recording is, or that this call today is also being recorded, so you can come back and watch this information again. I highly recommend it. There will be a lot of important information shared with you today. But I can say that this is, for a long time, this is the most exciting online global call that we've had. And I do believe that at the end of this call, with all the information that is being shared and released here today, I believe you will agree with me. I am joined here by Mr. Wayne Dobson, who is sitting right next to me here. Wayne and I will be hosting the call today. And I also want to say at this point, thank you very much for everyone who participated in putting this call together, and for all the translators that are translating in all the different rooms. I do believe that this call is today being translated on at least 3 to 4 different languages. So great to have all you here. Now, let's get started. There we go. The first global call of the year, 2026. And as I said already, the year has arrived. This is a big year for us in many, many different ways. We're going to talk today about what to expect to happen in the next couple of months, couple of weeks, even the next coming days. But there is a lot of things happening during this year, and there's been a lot of work that has been done during the previous years to get us to this moment where we are today. As said before, there will be a lot of information shared today, so please pay attention, make notes, and I recommend you to watch this recording again later. And additionally, I recommend you to join our team calls, which will be taking place in the next 2 weeks, where we're going to go with each different teams and specifically focus on the different topics, and to even more detailed information, share even more detailed information about those. Now, in this call, we're going to look at very briefly backwards to the year 2025. We're going to now announce the final allocation for the CSR 25 plastic credit. We're going to look at our expansion updates and targets as a company for this year. We're going to talk about a number of updates regarding our back office, Corsair Pay, compensation plan improvements, and even something to do with the currencies that we use. We're going to provide you a quick update regarding Corsair Capital. Obviously, we're going to officially today launch the Corsair Connect, as well as launch and introduce the CSR 26 plastic credit. We're going to talk about the exchange listing for the CSR 26, and we're going to provide for you a few projections for the CSR plastic credits on the markets in general. Finally, we're going to look at our strategy with campaigns for Corsair Connect for the year, and also there will be a lot of more communication updates and news coming. So we will also look at our events calendar and upcoming additional global calls. So very eventful, very important and informative day for us here. Very briefly about last year, we can say that the year 2025 was definitely a fantastic year for the company, for the community, and all the work that we've done. We're very happy about the year, and looking back now for the last 12 months, we can clearly say that that year was a year of a global expansion. Now, when we think about our expansion that we did, I'd like to see it visually to be more of something like a horizontal expansion. We expanded in so many different areas into new markets, into new territories, into new business areas. And I'll give you some examples of this. But last year, the growth, how I like to visualize it, was more on horizontal level. Very important. When you go to our new website, which has been recently updated and released at corsairgroup.com, you will find there a section which goes through and introduces the corporate history and milestones of our company from 2020 until today. And what you will see when you go there is you see these highlights that we wanted to mention in the year 2020, 2021, 2022. And once we get to 2025, we needed 2 pages to put in all of these highlights. And I'm not going to read them all to you right now, but I recommend you to go there and see what we truly achieved during last year. It's amazing, and I'm extremely proud of our entire team, of our entire community, and everything that we built together. Now, many of these highlights that you will be able to read on the website by themselves could have been already that one thing that we will be remembered for that year. But the fact that we have here about 20, 25 of them is just unheard of. So I'm very proud of the work. I'm very excited about what's going to happen during this year. But looking back for 2025, it was a very important and a very good year for us as in terms of our global expansion. Now, moving forward on the topic of the total allocation for the CSR 25. So when the last plastic waste removal service package was sold on Friday at midnight, at that moment, CSR 25 was no longer included into the service packages. And based on that, Wayne and the team have now finalized on the number of how many CSR 25 plastic credits, how many tokens will ever be in existence. Because now there is no more CSR 25 as a service that is being sold. So we have come to an end of that allocation period. Therefore, the total amount of CSR 25 that will ever exist is approximately 590 million tokens. That's not a lot, guys, which is very, very good. In this case, the smaller the number, the better. And we're going to talk about later why. But 590 million CSR 25 plastic credits is the final complete existence of the CSR25 plastic credit that will ever be in circulation. And most of that will never exist at the same time in the circulation, because every time when a company or a private individual retires credits, they will be removed from the circulation. Every time when Corsair performs a buyback, more credits will be removed from the circulation. But this is the total amount that can ever exist, that will ever be created. That's basically the number. Now, to put that into perspective, for the ones of you who have been with us for a longer period of time, this 590 million is approximately 6% of the amount of the allocation of the original CSR. So very interesting things is expected to happen with the CSR 25. Now, many of these CSR 25 credits won't be released into the circulation until mid and late 2027. So that means that the distribution period is going to take time, and therefore the market will have a very healthy situation and environment to grow. So very interesting to keep track of this. Therefore, we can now say that the countdown for CSR 25 has officially started. From today onwards, there will only be less of them in existence in circulation. Because with every retirement, with every buyback, that available circulation is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. If you go to Etherscan and you study what amount of CSR 25 is currently stored in the exchanges, in this case in the L-Bank exchange, the amount of CSR 25 which is inside the exchange, which is not already controlled by our mandatory purchase pools, our bonus pools, or Corsair's buybacks, as of today stands at approximately 2.6 million credits. So these credits are not even all listed for sale. They simply are there stored in the wallets inside the exchange. That puts things into perspective of what is actually on the market. I very much urge and advise and how would I say, even beg you to make sure that you never keep and store your CSR plastic credits on the exchanges. Don't do that. That is the most unsafe place to store them. Again, I want to highlight, we at Corsair, myself or Wayne or anybody personally, we have no involvement in any of these exchanges, L-Bank or Latoken. We have nothing to do with their management. We have no control. If anything happens with those exchanges, let's hope not, but it is out of our control. So I very much urge you, always hold your credits at a specific private wallet, not inside the exchange. Okay? Now, to summarize that topic, we can definitely say that the potential for CSR 25 value development is very exciting. And now that countdown has started. Moving onwards, I wanted to share with you some information regarding our expansion updates and targets as a industrial operator for the year 2026. So if 2025 was a year of global expansion, 2026 is now going to be the year of global growth. I'm very excited already now to see what is going to happen this year. We will definitely have a very strong focus, both with the Corsair Connect network, but also with our industrial operations in North America. We have done a tremendous amount of work in order to get to where we are today. And I believe that this year is going to start to generate the results and the fruit from that region that we want to see. Every week we are learning more and more and more about the market over there, and the outlook for the future is just getting more and more brighter, looking better and better every week. I do want to say thank you for all of our North American partners, both in Canada and as well as in the United States of America. There is a lot of work that has been put in there in both of the countries to build this foundation, which now during this year will begin to grow. We are going to make an announcement next month in February regarding the first facility in the United States. I'm going to share with you some more information when this will take place. But we are very close now of coming to the point where we can actually announce for you the location, the specifics, and the parties involved in our first United States Corsair Plastic Waste Recycling Center. Our target for the country is over the coming years to build 100 facilities across the country. This is our first milestone. And by doing that, be capable of processing of more than 1.2 billion kilos of plastic waste annually within the United States alone. From this, we expect to generate upwards of 1 billion liters of pyrolysis oil, which with the current market value will provide for us only in the United States an accumulated annual sales of over $1 billion a year. That's our first milestone. And I think we're going to look back at these numbers in the next couple of years and say, yeah, that was a great starting point, because the demand and the need and the opportunity is just enormous. But more information of this will be shared with you later. As a very quick update, I also want to share with you information regarding Sri Lanka. We have now done all the needed preparation work, planning, design, and engineering work to start the physical construction and development of our plant in Sri Lanka in collaboration with the company LOLC. I'm very happy to share with you today that this actually will be and is our first new project, our first new factory, which has already been fully financed before we begin work. You might not understand the importance of that or the significance of that, but when we go back 5 years and we think about the way how we build our factories in Thailand and now in Finland, we've never had the full funding available on day one. We started working first, believing and trusting the universe that somehow we're going to be able to pull the money together. in order to continue building. And that's what we did. But now moving onwards to new locations, like in the United States, like in our new other European locations, and in this case, Sri Lanka, we are in a different situation as a company. And I'm extremely happy to tell you that our Corsair Sri Lanka project has now already been fully financed through a private partnership that we have formed with a significant funder. And this will be the way how we as a company are going to be moving forward in the future with all of our projects. The funding is organized, and then we get to work. This means that the projects will be built up and they will become operational and completed much, much, much faster than what we've done in the past by building them little by little by little based on how much money and resources we have available. We also have a very strong collaboration with the LOLC, one of the largest companies in the country of Sri Lanka. And we've already put in place a number of plans for additional facility expansions in the region, not only inside Sri Lanka, but over the entire region. In Finland, there are some great news coming shortly. Very excited to see the work and all the progress that has been done there right now. But stay tuned for more information from Finland. Things are looking very nice there right now, as they do here in Thailand. Many of you visited us here during the event week that we had in November, and a lot of work happened at our Thailand facilities last year, and this year it will be even more, even faster, even bigger. We are also going to launch several new locations during the year 2026. And this will include locations in Europe, in the Middle East, in both North and Latin America, and even some other locations. So very exciting year ahead of us. When we generally look at our targets for the year 2026, our target is to continue to strengthen our position as the fastest growing company in the plastic waste chemical recycling industry. But on top of that, our target is that by the end of this year, we will be recognized as the market leader in the plastic waste chemical recycling industry. There is nobody in this industry today who is expanding or growing faster than we are. Nobody. They don't even come close. And we have done that with a fraction of the budgets that these other players have done, who have had hundreds of millions, even billions in their disposal. And we are achieving more, not because of the power of the capital, but because of the power of the people. And again, it is our global community that is the sole reason why we are the fastest growing company in this industry and why we are going to continue to expand faster than anybody else. Obviously, we are now expanding more and more and more towards crowdfunding and other public markets, which is a big part of our strategy for this year. As a company, we are going to continue to grow and improve in all areas of our business. We're going to improve a lot of things during this year. Wayne is going to talk shortly about some updates regarding some of the most important updates and improvements that has to do with our back office and many other important elements which concern you as a member of our community. This year, we will also begin collaborations with institutional financiers. This is the year where we will be able to have a direct access to larger capital, which will again then translate and which will then result in faster growth and faster expansion. We will also build large-scale collaborations with organizations like the United Nations. We will continue to build our contributor partners network by bringing in more plastic recyclers from all over the world to be part of the creation of the CSR plastic credits. This will include working in collaboration with other chemical recyclers and other mechanical recyclers of plastic waste. Also, more organizations like the communities, the slums that we work here in Thailand with, or the fishermen that we work together with. More collaboration in the collection of plastic from the environment and the recycling of it. Also, we are going to be bringing in and introducing a number of new additional people in the Corsair management team, people with specific top-level experience in different fields of our business that can join our team and now help us to grow together. So, to summarize that, as our targets for the year 2026, we feel that with our combined industrial expansions in different parts of the world, we're going to basically break every record that is out there. And obviously, this leads us continuously into an increasing revenue of oil sales and also revenue received from the so-called gate fees, where in places like Europe and other developed countries around the world, we are now even getting paid to receive the plastic garbage at our recycling facilities. 10% from all of this revenue that we generate from receiving the plastic or selling the oil will then be used in our buyback program, where we will buy as a company back from the open exchanges CSR plastic credits at any available rate. Think about that. Money coming from the sales of the oil to some of the largest oil and gas and petrochemical companies in the world is channeled into the buyback, where we will be buying them back from the market with no interest of what the available price is. I mentioned earlier our target for the United States alone, which in the coming years is set to generate $1 billion a year. 10% of that, $100 million, once we reach that number, will go into the buyback program. Not once, every single year. This means that when there's no more CSR or CSR 25 created, demand is going up, and at the same time, supply is going down. What do you think is going to happen? Well, one thing I can tell you is that something like this has never been done before. Never. Never in the field of digital assets, never in the field of plastic waste recycling, never in the field of network marketing. And therefore, in combination, I truly believe that our business model is the greatest opportunity for most people who ever have the fortune to learn about it. The biggest opportunity, 100%. It's very difficult to come up with anything at the moment which would have a better opportunity with better timing than what we have in this industry. In combination of these three, the industrial operations, the digital asset operations, and the most powerful method of distributing your message around the world, network marketing. Now we are combining that with fully regulated structures like crowdfunding, which is going to completely take us to a new level. This is just a fraction of what we're going to be doing this year, ladies and gentlemen. But as you can see, we're excited. We're also going to be making new partnership announcements. These will be coming soon. So all in all, I would say that this is just an unbelievable, amazing time for all of us. And for the ones of you that have been with us since the beginning, since 2020 or even before that, you know how much we've achieved. And when we look back and we see the work that we've done and how far we have come, it's absolutely amazing. The ones of you who are joining today, or maybe you're here hearing about it today for the first time, I want to truly say welcome, because you are coming in to a table that's fully set. You're arriving to the dinner table when everything is on the table already. You didn't have to participate in the cooking, and you are still early enough so you're not missing any part of the meal. You're not missing the main course, you're not missing the appetizers, and you're definitely not missing the dessert. You are at a right place at the right time, and we couldn't be more excited. Moving onwards, regarding the Corsair Capital public company, the significance of Corsair Capital is really, really, really big and important. I don't even have the words for that. The fact that with this first ever crowdfunding campaign, we as a company, we as a community and as a group are now fully regulated and licensed to offer investment services and opportunities for the public. We are by far the first affiliate marketing network in the world that has been able to do that. Period. Nobody else. And this first campaign, which is now going to close permanently on Thursday, the 8th of January in the evening, has so much significance and importance when we look at our future roadmap and where we are moving as a company. But on top of that, during this first campaign, investors from Europe and other selected countries have now had the opportunity and still have the opportunity to own part of the entire Corsair group of companies. As a participant in our Corsair Capital crowdfunding campaign, the investors are now becoming shareholders in the entire Corsair group. With everything that we have today, and with everything that we will have 10, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, because we're just getting started. Even if you are joining us here for the first time today, hearing about us today, you're not too late, because this is only and only the beginning for us as a community and for our company. So the investors who have participated into the first ever Corsair Capital crowdfunding campaign, congratulations to you. And the opportunity is still open for a few more days. So please make sure you take action if this is something that you are interested. If you are looking for more information, you can contact us through our website, or you can talk to your upline in your organization, and we will have a trained person who is licensed to give you investment advice to educate you more about the opportunity. Now, once this campaign closes on the 8th of January, there will be the second round. There will altogether be 4 annual rounds, 4 campaigns in Corsair Capital. The first one will now end on the 8th of this month, and the second one will begin later this year. But I do want to highlight that the sales price of the shares, the value of the shares for the second campaign will be higher already than now on the first one. So there is a number of benefits of being involved already now, if possible, and if this sounds interesting. Now, as I said before, this is a very, very important step into the future that we have now taken with crowdfunding. We will more and more and more in the future be operating on this base. And this basically 1 month that the Corsair Capital first campaign was available was more like a warm-up and practice round for what is coming in the future. Corsair Connect as a company will focus on offering 3 main categories of services. We are going to continue to offer our plastic waste removal service, and we will continue to offer our crowdfunding services. But on top of that, already during this year, we are going to also begin to offer online banking services. Think about where we are and what we are talking here. That is what we are all about. Additionally, money raised by the Corsair Capital Company will also be used to buy CSR plastic credits from the open markets. Exactly the same way how money from the oil sales is used to buy back plastic credits, Corsair Capital is doing the same. And during this year, we expect that Corsair, which includes the parent company and Corsair Capital as a public company, is looking to buy more than 200 million CSR plastic credits out from the market. This will be CSR and CSR 25s. Together with additional retirements, we project that somewhere between 500 million and 1 billion plastic credits will leave the market during this year, CSR plastic credits, including both CSR, CSR 25, and so on. That is hundreds of millions of more than what is currently available on the exchanges. So when we talk about, I'll go back to what I said before, with all of these new regulations that we're going to see more this year, more and more countries now starting to implement their own extended producer responsibility laws, including in the United States, we're going to start to see all of those things that we have spoken for the last years to materialize during this year. It's very, very exciting. So, with increasing demand and decreasing supply, the market value for all the CSR plastic credits is destined to grow. That is to put it in the most simplest way. So, in summary, this year will definitely be a great year for all the CSR plastic credit holders. I would like you to look and keep an eye on the Corsair buyback wallet and the retirement wallet, which are already listed on csrnow.com website. There's a little ticker that moves over there. But also we will be adding the third wallet, which is the Corsair Capital wallet. And those will show you the amounts of credits that have already now been removed from the general open circulation. Now, coming to one of our most important topics of today, which is officially now launching Corsair Connect. So, as we all know from the communication over the last couple of months, we have now done a very, very large amount of work to finally align all the brands into one. Starting from today, there will no longer be a separate brand for the network and separate brand for the company, as it was in the past. Amplivo is now officially Corsair Connect. This transition from one name to another, one brand to another, is going to take between 1 to 2 months altogether. It's not an overnight change. So during these next 2 months, you are going to start to see more and more things moving to the Corsair Connect away from Amplivo. Some places you will see the two brands maybe together for a while, but eventually every day Amplivo is being put more and more into the past, and Corsair Connect will be enforced and will be elevated as the brand that we are moving into the future with. It's also important to highlight that this is much more than just a name change. This means a complete structural change in our business. It means setting up new companies, new practices, how we operate. There's a lot of changes and a lot of improvements that has been done with this change from Amplivo into Corsair Connect. But most importantly, now we are all part of the same Corsair community. There's no difference on the branding when it comes to the main name of the company, Corsair. And that, I believe, will build clarity and help us to all operate as one even better than before. You will be shared, for the ones of you who are interested, a file which covers the brand guidelines. We've done a lot of work, and I want to say thank you for our design team, led by Mr. Nicolo, and our art director, Mr. Costa, who has done a great job on all of this. And in this guidelines file, you will be able to read everything that has to do with the Corsair Connect brand. But we don't have to worry about that now. And most of you people, you don't need to do anything. You just enjoy the ride, as we are now taking a very, very big improvement. Obviously, the tagline for Corsair Connect is "Connect with the Planet." That, I think, resonates and summarizes everything that we are about. Additionally, it's all about connecting with people, but most importantly, it's about connecting with the planet. We have built the brand in a way where the logo will stand very strong by itself as a symbol and also with the text on it. And therefore, it's very important that especially some of you key people and leaders, when you use the Corsair Connect logo, please make sure that you always use it in the proper way. As you can see here above, not the one in the bottom. So we don't mix up the colors into something else, or we don't display the text without the symbol and such. The color scheme is, as you can see, ranging from white to gold to blue. And even the fonts have been designed and decided. With all of this work, we want to make sure that our communication and our messaging that we put out to the planet is very clear and unified. This goes to everything that we do in our marketing. Now, finally, there's going to be a download link where you can see all this material, and all the short presentations are already now mostly updated, but there will be new presentations and a lot of new material that will be released in the next 2 months as this transition is taking place. But if you still see the Amplivo logo somewhere, don't worry about it. This is all part of the transition as we are now becoming more and more aligned with our branding. Now, it is my pleasure to hand over the steering wheel here for my good friend and my business partner here on the left of me, Mr. Wayne Dobson, the Chief Information Officer of Corsair Group, who has the pleasure and the honor of today, 4th of January, officially launching the CSR 26 plastic credit. So I'm going to hand over the microphone now for Wayne, and we're going to hear from him some great news. Thank you very much, Wayne.
Hi, everybody. Well, I'm going to start by just wishing everybody a Happy New Year. Here we are with over 1,000 people spending your day here, learning about the opportunity that's before us and the changes that are taking place as we move into 2026. So first of all, thank you for being here, and a huge Happy New Year to everybody. So looking at the CSR 26 launch, I'm really pleased to say that I actually don't have a lot to say here. We started 2025 with the launch of something called CSR 25. And those of you who were around us were all wondering what this really meant and how it's going to change things and how things are going to be different in the way that you build your business. Everybody found that actually there was very, very little difference to building your business in the world of CSR 25. And I'm really pleased to say that's exactly the same today. As we move into CSR 26, it has the same features and functions of the CSR 25. It's created on a regular basis, aligning with the work done by Corsair facilities and our contributing partners around the world. So as the plastic waste is removed, the CSR 26 is created and distributed to our customers around the world. It's very straightforward and very simple. It has the same ability to track exactly where the plastic waste is removed. So in the future, as legislation changes, which we anticipate it will do, and organizations are required to remove their plastic waste from their specific location, then we're able to track that with the distribution of CSR 25 and now 26. I think this is really, really important as we move forwards. So CSR 26 in the short term is simply rinse and repeat of what you did for the whole of last year and the year before. And as it grows into long term, and Jay will talk much more about the long-term opportunities with CSR 26 in a short while. But what I want to assure you is it's just the same. It'll be listed on LBank, presently scheduled for the 19th of January. And we're going to make sure that you have the ability and your customers have the ability to have CSR 26 in your possession at that launch date. We're going to really push forward to ensure that all of the early deliveries this year during this special promotional period are available to you for that launch date. And that's really exciting. The listing price is also very important. We're going to list CSR 26 at launch day on the 19th of January at the same price as CSR 25. And that's expected to be 5 cents, as it says on the screen. Aligning these two very important recycling credits, plastic credits for everybody. I'm going to rattle through a few more updates for you. First of all, the back office, which is Corsair Connect. I think many of our partners have perceived the brand Corsair Connect, the change of Corsair Connect, to be simply about the back office. And as Jay has already mentioned, it's a lot more than that. It's a whole new structure to our corporate foundations, the legislation and jurisdictions in which we work, the branding that we're bringing together, the terms and conditions in which we sell and you operate, as well as the back office. As many of you saw during the recent vision tour, the back office's technology is very advanced at this stage, and we anticipate that it will be launched during this transition period when we move from Amplivo's brand to Corsair Connect's brand, from Amplivo the company to Corsair Connect the company. And there's lots of legislation going around that, lots of technology around that, and we anticipate that being the middle of Q1 this year. It will incorporate an awful lot of additional features to do with AI, how you can manage your business with your network, and we'll continue to deliver more updates on this as we move towards launch. Corsair Pay, this is the electronic banking that Jay spoke about a few moments ago. We once again anticipate this being launched during Q1 of 2026. It's a massive undertaking and something that I don't think anybody else in the MLM world has attempted. And we intend to push that forward during this first quarter. We've talked a lot about compensation plan updates and improvements. These will be launched along with the Corsair Connect back office during Q1. And we have lots of ideas, and I would like to thank all of our key leaders around the world for giving us your feedback and your ideas on how we can better change our compensation plan and drive both your business and our business forwards. So thank you for that. And then as a final point, as we move into Corsair Connect, the back office, there'll be a big transition from a euro to a USDT main currency. We're going to make it as seamless and as structured as possible, allowing you to be able to view your balances in different currencies, but all of our plastic waste removal services will be sold in USD, and you'll be able to do your withdrawals using quantities of USD as well. This is a major shift and moving much more to a global environment as we move into 2026 and Corsair Connect. So I think with that, I want to hand back to Jay, but finally, thanking everybody for being on this call and making the most of the opportunities presented to us during 2026. Thank you very much, everybody.
Great. Thank you very much, Wayne. That was fantastic. Yeah, a lot of, as you guys can see, I mean, for one call, this is a lot of information, and therefore we're going to have a number of additional calls and also another global call happening next month in order to follow up on a lot of these developments. And it'll be very interesting to see when all of this technical development that has been worked on for months and months and years even is now coming into completion. And the change from euro to US dollar will also simplify our work tremendously, because I'm sure you already now are dealing with the differences of 5 cents US dollars or 5 cents of euro and the complications that it brings. Therefore, again, unifying ourselves all with the US dollar is going to simplify things significantly. Also, with our expansion into new regions, the US dollar, even if we Europeans kind of like to see ourselves in a certain light, but US dollar is more of the global currency, also in places like in Asia or Middle East, Africa, Latin America, and obviously North America. So this is something that we are going to implement, but there will be obviously time for this, and it's not really going to change anything massively. It's just going to make things so much more easier and simple. Again, it's that simplifying alignment that we want to make. We want to make our work and your work to be as simple, fast, and efficient as possible. Now, Wayne, thank you very much again for officially here today launching the CSR26. That is obviously already now included into the packages of plastic waste removal service that has been available since yesterday. Now, listing the CSR26 on the market is the first step, and from there onwards, we can now make some projections of what we believe can happen and will happen for that plastic credit on the open markets. So as Wayne said, the trading for CSR26 will begin on LBank with 5 cents per credit, or in other words, 50 cents per kilo of plastic waste removed from the environment. It's very important to always keep in mind that without the work, there's no credit. So what our customers, your customers, are buying, they're buying that physical service of plastic waste being removed from the environment, and only by doing so, the credit can be issued as a form of digital receipt for that physical work. Now, our projection is that the CSR26 market price will develop within the first weeks to somewhere between 6 to 10 cents per credit. This will be happening because of obviously very limited supply and also through to a growing demand. Our campaign strategy with Corsair Connect for the year 2026 will generally follow the same model as we already saw last year. So as Wayne said, there is no major change on how we operate. Things are just getting easier and better and clearer and simpler. Corsair Connect, like last year, will continue to offer the plastic neutrality packages at a standard rate. The standard rate for the service is at this moment set to 15 cents per kilo of plastic waste removed from the environment. In other words, 1.5 cents per CSR26 plastic credit. As a part of our launch opening period, we are now offering for the next 2 weeks, starting from yesterday, a discount of 25%. This means that the actual price for the service is not 15 cents, it's now locked in at 11 cents per kilo, or only 1.1 cents per CSR 26. This will be available only and only during the first 2 weeks, starting now. After 2 weeks, the discount will go away and the price will now be the original 15 cents per kilo or 1.5 cent per credit. Following to that, as we saw last year, the price of the service will continue to increase on a week-to-week basis by 1 cent per kilo. So every week, the standard price will continue to increase exactly like we did with CSR 25 last year. So this means that from a week-to-week basis, it will become more and more expensive to participate. That's why it is a fantastic time to get in early, to be involved in this revolution during the first weeks, during the first months of the year. The sooner the customer takes advantage of this campaign, the more savings and benefits they receive. Our projection is that the CSR 26 market price will over time develop to $3 to $5 per kilo, or in other words, between 30 to 50 cents per credit. This, in relation to the general market value of plastic credits, in relation to upcoming regulations, in relation to our buyback program, and everything else that's happening right now within our business and our community. So it pays for the time. It's very, very beneficial to be part of the cleanup process of our planet from plastic waste. There is, as I said earlier, there is very few businesses in the world or opportunities where you can participate directly into the well-being and betterment of our entire planet while simultaneously helping people in communities that truly need our help. Some of the poorest communities in the world have now a new opportunity to make money from plastic garbage, which until today, nobody was interested about. And people saw as a problem. Now that problem is becoming an opportunity. That garbage is now overnight turning into gold. Think about it. And with your participation, with your clients' participation, with everyone who participates in the purchase of the plastic waste removal service, we can do more. We can do more, we can do faster, we can do bigger, and we all win and we all benefit. It truly is a win-win-win situation. Now, there will be a lot more updates, information, and communication coming in the next weeks and months. So please stay tuned. And therefore, we have already scheduled the following team calls where you can come in and listen. Again, repeat it, but even in more detail, not just repeating the same information here, but more information about these different topics. The first one of these team calls will take place tomorrow. That will be at 8:30 p.m. CET time. I will be there speaking, and it will be translated into Italian. On next week, Sunday, we're going to have a call which will be specifically translated for the Spanish, followed by calls for the French, and then again, another English call on the 13th of January. So these calls will be focusing on the same topics that we have spoken here today, but we're going to go even more details into these different topics. Before we come to the end of our call today, I'd like to also go through with you a few important milestones for our events calendar. You can already now make a mental note, start thinking about these different times for the year. Final dates will be announced later, but sooner than we have ever announced anything before. We're also getting better on this in terms of setting dates and communicating them and preparing everything in advance. But next month, in February, we are going to have our next global call, similar to the one today, but with new updates and new announcements. There's so many things happening right now that it is important that we stay up to date and we follow up with another call during February. In March, we are going to have a North American tour. We are going to visit with the management team in Canada and the United States in a number of different locations. So together with our key people and leaders over there, we are putting the schedules and the locations and the dates together, but prepare for a North American tour on March. As usual, on May, there will be activities taking place in Europe. This year, we're not going to do anymore a tour, but instead, we're going to have two specific events. They will be 1 week apart from another. We will have a Northern European event, which will then take place in Finland. It will be held in Helsinki, and it will be on a Sunday during May this year. On a day before the event, there will also be then an opportunity to visit the Finland Kaipola Corsair factory. So the Northern European event will begin this European function. And then 1 week after that, we're going to have another event in a southern part of Europe. We haven't locked in the place yet, but we are looking at a location which would be convenient for Italians, French, and Spanish to conveniently participate. Somewhere in the southern part of Europe. And these will be 1 week from each other. They will be the same event, so you can choose into which one you want to participate, or obviously some of you guys, I know already, you're going to be in both of them, which is absolutely fantastic. Moving towards the end of this year, which is still long away, we are going to have the Vision 26 event week, again, in late October, early November. So you can already start preparing mentally for that. And obviously, the final dates will be released shortly. So a lot of topics that we covered today, as we can see from the list here, everything from looking back what we did last year, total allocation of the CSR 25, being that 590 million. Our targets for this year, many things are going to happen in the next coming weeks, months, and obviously we expect this to be a fantastic year for all of us. The fact is that there's no better time than now. That's just a fact. We are ready. As a company, as a community, we are ready for what is coming next. And that is, as I explained before, a massive global growth in every level of our business. So I hope you are ready, because we are definitely ready. And I know that together, we are going to make this year, 2026, our best year yet. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all very much for taking your time today and to being with us here on the call, to share this information with us. and most importantly, for being part of this amazing journey. It's really a pleasure for all of us working here in the Corsair office to be on this journey with you. And like we always say, even if there's so many developments, so many things that we've already done, the best part is we're just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. This is only and only the beginning. So, once again, thank you all very much. Please participate in the upcoming calls. And we're going to see you guys, hopefully all of you and more, again next month in the follow-up global call. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. We're going to make this a fantastic January. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.